Good afternoon, Sam Tolbert from Sound of Joy Music Services, and I'm coming to you live this time. A little different setup with my cameras, testing it, a different way to look at things, and a different approach. Rather than just playing a song, I want to give all of my YouTube followers, those that are looking for me for music lessons, um, how I practice and to see if we can help you to develop your own practice session. So we're on live. I'm monitoring the chat. Let me just type something in there. There we go. Let me know that you're here, and if you have any questions, please post them. I'm going to give you uh, how I practice. Now, again, I don't want to create an actual clone of me, but if you don't have an actual practice session, how you practice music, this is how I'm able to interpret the gospel sound no matter what song I'm playing. So let me switch to my keyboard. This is my Yamaha S70XS keyboard. I've had it since 2009, so it's got 11 years on it, and it still sounds like brand new. Just adjust my pedal. It's got a nice piano feel to it, so when I practice piano um, licks and runs, I get the fighting feel of an actual keyboard, of an actual piano. And so when you see me practice scales, I'm able to move my hands across these keys just that fast because I practice this. And I switch keys. Yes, after I'll say 50 years of playing, I still practice scales. Now I'm talking, so I'm trying to keep my concentration down so I land on the correct notes. This is a tempo that I set just for beginning, and usually I'm not having a conversation. There we go. So yes, I still practice scales because I need to have my fingers limber, not just on the right hand, but on the left hand. I'll slow it down so I get the right fingering. Ah, missed it. I'm sure the fingering is not correct. But I still practice scales. Do I practice every scale written? No. I practice the ones that are going to assist me in learning or in interpreting gospel music the way my head hears it. Get that to end correctly. But yes, I still practice scales, and I'll do them on both hands. This takes thought, so I have to watch this. I should slow it down because one hand is starting to run away with it. I'm a little quiet so I can concentrate on what I'm doing. There we go. So that is welcome keyboardist, Dell Hollingsworth. And Agri. Thanks for coming in. I got to remember to keep an eye on those who come in. So that's part of my practice session opening up. I'll do chromatic scales. And this is, again, this is only because if my hands are tight, if I haven't really practiced yet, it's hard to throw runs and your hands are actually tight because you haven't opened up with scales. I'll do, though, of course, the large chords, which is the good stretch across the whole hand. But I can't do that stretch if my fingers are tight. When you're playing gospel music, I mean, you're playing at the moment of that time. It's not like it's scripted on paper that says you're going to be here. That's not scripted. When you're doing gospel music, you're thinking, what do I want to do? That's right at that time. So your hands have to know how to form a chord. Your left hand has to know when to come in. Yes, you have to be able to find notes. So like everything is not a scale, but it is, you do find, let me just change my setting here. You do find a purpose to your practicing. Who else joined us? So of course, I'm open for questions. Please don't let this be a one-way communication. Thanks for those who have come in, for those who I see coming in. Practicing for me is training my ear, number one. The ear has to be trained to know. That's a note, that's a note, that's a note, that's a note. And now that my ear is trained to where those notes are, how do I put a chord there? Because I already know that's a chord that I've played in the past, I know what notes, I know how I want to form a chord around that. But now, how do I use that chord in a song? Let me, okay, I think I got C as, no, I got A flat as my, and chordy. Yeah, A flat and chordy. So, if I'm playing a song, someone had posted on one of the sites the words to a gospel song by the late James Cleveland. We serve a God who's a mighty good God. I haven't played that song in 30 years. But the minute I saw the lyrics, I said, I remember that song. Straight gospel. That straight gospel sound. Let me just change my keyboard view. Straight gospel sound. Straight gospel, that real, gospel sound that has the audience clapping in the background. Now you see that I've been posting videos now with a much clearer sound to it. I am using Pro Tools now to be my my recorder of the keyboard sounds coming from here. I wanted the quality to go as high as possible. So I'm actually now mixing. You may look at some of the videos and you may see the notes played before my hands move. I'm still working on getting my videos to line up correctly with the music, but what I wanted to do was to get that real good sound, because this keyboard, the let me switch to it. This keyboard has a tremendous sound that I want to be heard when I do play it, because music has a way of adjusting the atmosphere of where you're actually playing. I thought I had that tilt fixed. Let me see if I can adjust that a little bit. Part of this job is to make sure that the presentation is good. So, and because I'm using the Yamaha, there are hundreds of sounds that I haven't even touched on yet. This is my full grand sound, which I'll use when I'm doing an actual performance. Let me see. Thinking from Level Live. Gospel music has a great tune transition from Sunday school to Sunday service. Yes, we serve a God who's a mighty good God. There's an old hymn, not say an old hymn, but from the Love Alive Walter Hawkins album, the Be Grateful. This is what my grand piano sound is good for. All of these songs from the old gospel songs from the past, you merge them all together to give you that sound of gospel. Or a lot of the people still play Thank You, Lord. Let me see. For those that remember Oh Happy Day, basic chords. All of these chords, all of these different songs help to promote the gospel sound. Now, did gospel start with the Hawkins? No. I think I had mentioned in one of my chats on Facebook that the gospel sound followed spirituals, anthems, hymns, and then you had gospel. And gospel was when you had that group sound where the music was a lot freer when people would play. Trying to think if you want to go back to spirituals. What's the most spiritual I can do? Steal Away. I picked A flat because that's the key that my accordion is in. Basic chords. A lot of musicians don't know this song. What is it? 'Tis the Old Ship of Zion. These are the old hymns of the spiritual songs. But believe it or not, you get your chords from these old songs. Switch up on my keyboard here. So these type of songs helped my ear as I would hear these songs played in my younger days as a musician. I would go, okay, how can I chord around a song like I want to get out of. I'm not on chordy now. If someone started singing, well, let's do standing in the need of prayer in the key of G. Standing in it's me, oh Lord. Standing in the need of. Very basic, but when you want to add gospel to it, then you're going to start playing around the notes. Gospel, what does gospel have? It has sevenths, it has diminished, what is the other one that has? It has some plus fives, which these chords take you to different parts of the song, versus those who do the counting 1, 6, 5, and then 1. The counts are good, but I like to be able to know I can work around, the actual number system. Where's the melody going? That's what I do. I give that honky tonk, that striding, that's a Louisiana stride, I think it's what. That fun part of creating music out of music. When I'm in my attempt to teach anyone how to play the gospel piano, I think it's one of the least used instruments now in your church setting, because everything is about guitars and synthesizers and creating a mood or a moment. But there was a time when all you had was a piano in your church. That was the only instrument you had, and it was tacky. Yes, I played pianos that sounded like this, and that challenged me to, there was all detuned. Some of the notes were missing, but I had, as a musician, had to make that piano sound like something. So if they were singing, let me see remember what songs we used to do back in the day. don't want to say what we do to him, but usually you found the tacky pianos downstairs. The Sunday morning service, you were upstairs, you had the much better sounding piano. They put the old one downstairs. Let's see. Do Lord remember? Do Lord remember? That's what I would do with my old pianos. And it's all about feeling comfortable with whatever instrument you have, be it a grand, if you play like a grand, or whatever church piano they had. The gospel sound is built on big band and jazz. Now you'll have the people who will try to convince you that, oh, the gospel sound is a heaven sent sound where God himself pours into the person playing it and that tune comes out. As a student of music, as I was as a youngster in high school, I got to hear a lot of different interpretations of music, and I knew what classical sounded like, I knew what big band sounded like, I knew what Caribbean style sounded like, or the Latin style. I learned the African style. I heard all the different styles of music. So when it came for me to interpret that to when I play gospel, I borrowed from all those styles. I was never taught to play jazz. I was never taught to play piano. I just had a desire as a youngster to play what I heard in my head. If I was watching cartoons on a Saturday morning, and I would hear the Roadrunner theme. Roadrunner. I always go back to the piano and I try to figure out how did they make that sound come out to sound like that. Now I did it kind of sloppy there, but that's what I did. I interpreted music when I would hear this was Bugs Bunny. Whatever I was hearing in my head, as a musician who learned to play by ear, like many of you do, God bless those of you that are skilled and learned that could put down sheet music and play every note on a page. That is not me. Welcome, Luego. But that did not stop me from desiring to be able to hear music and then try to interpret what I hear. In my house, there was a piano, a spinning piano, which I had to wait my turn to play. And my father was a Hammond organ servicer. So in his shop, he did have a Hammond B3 organ. So as I got older and I was allowed, I got a chance to practice on a Hammond B3 organ, but most of my practicing was done on a piano, which is why I stress piano playing so much, because you get it's a personal instrument. Now this, of course, it's a keyboard. Excuse me. So I can make it sound like anything I want. I can make it sound like an organ if I so desire, but it is not an organ. That much I know. I know it's not an organ, but when I do hear it, though, there's a part of me that clicks into organ mode that says, okay, it's not a piano anymore. Now I can hold notes. I know I need a bass at the bottom. I can hold my chords. So I can adapt to an organ mode. Elaine, the setup for this keyboard right now, I'm using the organ patches that are in the Yamaha S70X. I told you, it's got so many different sounds. When I do my music productions, I can sound like almost any instrument that I want to, because there are just so many different patches that are a part of this organ. Trying to find the ones that I kind of use expressively. This is called walking bass. As I say, this is where I practice left hand. In my head, I hear bass, so I can walk with my left hand. I think bass. In my head, I think the notes, because I practice how to do scales in every key. I can mimic what I hear in my head. Now, of course, I'm splitting the right hand from the left hand when I do that. So it's always a battle. What I want to do here is program. Now I know I'm here. Know I'm going B flat. I'm going to hit up E flat, A flat, F, B flat, D flat, E flat. So I know where I'm going to be. It's what pattern or what path I'm going to take to get there. And that's all practicing. I do practice that. When I was playing the Hammond organ, I used my my foot to mimic what my left hand was doing, so that when I was on an organ, my foot pedal could do this while I chorded on the left and the right hand. But again, jazz interpretation. When you're using jazz interpretation in gospel music, it sounds like heavenly music. No, it's an interpretation of what you're hearing at that time. Let me get because depending upon, again, the keyboard that you do have, if I wanted to be a string section, which I do love on this keyboard. This gives me a quartet section. Keyboards nowadays give you the opportunity to branch off on your thinking. I always knew I had an orchestral interpretation in my head, but most times the organ or piano couldn't give me that feel. A keyboard now, I can look at it and go, okay, what am I feeling from an orchestral standpoint? Oh, thank you, Jose. Thank you. So the interpretation of gospel, now that's a string sound, but some may also call that gospel because I had a lot of chords in it which were found in gospel songs. I want to say the opening to Richard Smallwood's Total Praise. So I loved it when I heard that opening to his song. I said, now I can practice a whole string section. You can't do that without having fluidness of your hands. Let me get out of that. So yes, you can go to jazz format in any setting that you choose. Just going back to my natural ground. Okay. But this is about my actual what you are watching is my actual practice session. I'll go to an organ patch, to a string patch. I'll go to, because again the keyboard gives you that, I'll go to my brass patch and pick up my big band sounds. Where are they? Again, I'm on the Yamaha S70XS. This is an old 11-year-old board, 11-year-old board, but it's because I take care of my instruments, it still sounds like brand new. Medium brass. Because I still have a big band sound in me. And I'll only use these sounds if I'm doing an actual production. Again, scales help to be able to allow me to practice that type. I'm a beginner in playing piano, and I do struggle with the advanced chords and hand fluidness. Would you technique? Yes, Alan, right? Elaine. The only technique for becoming more fluid in playing piano is practicing scales. As if you watch you probably didn't see my opening where I went through scales with both hands and got them both in sync. This is the only way to become fluid. As you see, I'm changing on purpose. You see, I get both hands thinking the same thing. And I'm actually talking while I'm doing this too, which is what I usually don't do. But just to show you how important it is to learn scales, not just to know what this sounds like, but to build fluidity. Like I can play it soft, I can play it loud. Soft, as soft as I can get it, as loud as I can get it. This is what one of the advantages a piano player has. You become very expressive. Oh, welcome. Oh, thank you, Mabel. You become very expressive. And gospel music is about what you're feeling at that very moment when you're playing. If I'm going to do, I think I did my last video, I Surrender All in the key of D. Now, I don't play I Surrender All in D. I do it in D flat, but I wanted to teach it in D to force musicians to learn that the D major scale exists. Don't be afraid of the D major scale. I play it mainly in D flat because I love using these upper black register keys where I can be expressive. All I'm doing is an A flat over an F chord in succession. I'm trying to change. All made up right now. I usually don't play it like that, but I was trying to show you how expressive an instrument the piano can be. When you want to get to the advanced chords, whatever you can do in your right hand, mimic it in your left hand. Because you're training both hands to hear notes and play them. I can't tell you how many months I spent practicing this to get this hand trained. I want to get them both in sync. Training. I haven't done this in long. Purposely forcing my hands to practice what is not normal, so that when I want to sit, I want to be able to know that I can call upon my left hand to be there for my right hand, no matter what I'm doing. Right there. Here it is. I practice that a lot too in every key, just to get fluid movement out of my hand. I won't tell you that it is easy, so your struggle is real, but the reward from that struggle is going to be even more beneficial to you, because you will begin to suddenly find out that you were only struggling because your hands did not respond to what you wanted them to do. It has to know. Generally, my range for my left hand is middle C and down. Now I may go into this section right here, which is like, no man's land. That's like for the thumb. And at times when I'm playing, I will switch rather than, why? Because it's much easier for me to do this. But this hand has to know how to move around. See, now the left hand is finishing this chord rather than this. And there we go. When I hear a change in my head, I try to play it like I hear it. Is there a keyboard book you recommend that speaks of chord combinations? I've collected so many chord books over the years that they're now collecting dust, only because I could not understand the formation of chords, so I purchased books that showed an actual, like what you see me doing here live. I have books that show this as a chord. I'm trying to think, can I put my hands on it right now? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can put my hand on it. Excuse the noise. Where are those books? Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. Yep, okay. All right. I forget how long ago I purchased this book, the Gig Bag Book of Picture Chords for All Keyboards, because I could not for the life of me figure out how other people were getting these chord sounds. So when I got this book and I began to open it up, it began to show me chord placement, like what you see me doing now, how a chord, what a name is, how that chord is formed. This is what I went through, which is why I always tell people you should invest in yourself and purchase books that will help you get better. So when I would see these chords, I would practice them. A lot of these chords you see here, I'm playing. So now when they broke up the chords into two hands, see if I can bring that up a little bit. When they went to two hand chords, I now got to see how they placed their hands for two hand chords. And as you see, this is a thick book. This is not, because it covers every key. But I got to now visualize, not without a teacher, visualize without a teacher, how these chords are formed, how the hand placement goes. This is before video. These were, There was an old, it's still an old saying that people say, if you want to hide chords from a musician, put them in a book. He'll never look there. But I purchased, this is one of maybe 10 books I have of chords, but this was the one that showed me, like what you see me doing here. When you see me do, let me just set that right there. This is live, so I can do this. When you see me slow down and do a chord like this, that's that book that's in front of me. I said I would always say I would never hide chords from any musician that asked me. If you heard me play a song and you said, Sam, what was that chord at marker or time marker 12/7 or whatever, 5/3, if I could see it or if I knew what the song was, I had no problem showing you the chord. That's how this book trained me to understand finger placement, how to be comfortable with and how to play that chord in any particular song, knowing that the next chord after that, I've got to be prepared to move. There we go. But now if I heard that song and using a chord, and because I practiced it, it made it easier to play it. And again, all these chords are big band sound, jazz chords. I don't know if this book is still available. Is there a date on it when I purchased this? It was $12.95 when I purchased it, so you know that was a long time ago. You don't get a book like this for $12.99, but find any chord instantly without reading music, suggested voicing, how to accompany any song from ragtime to rock. I think those are other books that interest keyboard play. I didn't get any of these, but when I got this one and I started to go through it, I was like, wow. This is what I've been missing. Pages and pages and pages of chords. How do you play a G sus chord? They call it, let me see, G, C, D. Just like you would see with, let me switch this over. Just as you would see this, a G sus 4, and it's written right there. A G6, and it's written right there. This was before video. A G minor chord. And you look at the book, well, you can't see the book right now, but the book is showing exactly what you see on my screen. Oh, okay, D major because I hit that. There we go. G minor chord. This book, for me, this book was a lifesaver because I struggled with being able to, I could hear the chord, but I would have trouble trying to find it. I had trouble trying to find it. And once I began to practice a book of chords, and then I was able to find what those chords really, let me just put me back on there for a second, find out what those chords really look like and how they sounded. Like this is G minor here, it's G minor here, it's G minor here. Now that I knew that this is G minor, this is G minor with a B flat, this is a G minor with a D bottom, still a G minor, but because the root changed, the chord changed. When you put a root on there, it'll keep it, right? Because I got a root there, it's still G minor because the lowest note is G. Then I began to hear those chords being played in other songs. Let me see. I'm trying to think what song used that G minor. G minor, song with G minor, G minor, G minor. I can't think of a song that used G. Oh, well. That was G minor, that was F minor. I Will Celebrate from Saints and Praise album. They did that in C. But I got to hear chords and see how they actually are, uh, the fingering for them. And once I got the fingering down, then I knew what to practice. Can I play minor chords all the way up the scale chromatically? And this is that practice thing I do. There we go. Minor down, minor down, minor down, minor down, minor down on both hands. I gotta look at it because now I'm out of the range where the left hand normally goes. I would hear those melodies in some of the cartoons, and once I got a feel for where I was going with a chord, it became easy to play it. I hope I'm sharing something that is going to be of assistance to you. Those of you that keep up with me, that have kept up with me since 2000. I want to think it's been 2008 that I've been on YouTube. I believe that's when I started, 2006, trying to impart those things that were, the proper fingering for a chord. It's a strong G. That booklet that I showed you, if you can get a hold of a booklet like this, it doesn't have to be this one. It doesn't have to be this one. It could be any booklet that will show you chords where they will give you the proper fingering depending upon what the chord name is. C major chord. What do they say? Here they show you the thumb, third finger, and the fifth finger. I don't play a C major chord like that. But it's good to know the proper way the chord should be played. But I play it like this. I use the second finger because these fingers need to be free to do whatever's coming up next. But I guess if you're going to be practicing, it's good to practice the way the experts show you. I don't do a C major chord like that. I do it like this most of the time because I need these two fingers free for where they're going to go. If I'm going to do a seventh chord, if I'm like this, then it's a hard jump. But if I do it like this, it's just right there. Oh, Esquire, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, this book is, again, I can't remember when I purchased this book, but this book is called The Gig Bag Book of Picture Chords. I'm trying to see if it, I'll hold this up so you can see any information on it that you might, let's see if I can get that right in the camera. Working on it. That might help you search it out on the internet. I'm watching OBS, so I make sure I get it lined up okay. All right, that should do it. There's some numbers there that you can see that may help you search for it. I don't know if it's still available. So much now is not in book form, it's all electronic. But this helped me tremendously. I think I've got some other books here. Of course, there's my all-time favorite that I still keep next to me whenever I'm having sessions like this. Before I had Chordy app, if you were to ask me what chord I was playing, I couldn't tell you. You see, this book is I already wore the top cover off. Creative Keyboards, Deluxe Encyclopedia, Piano Chords by Bob Krappel, a complete keyboard study of chords and how to use them. This was my Bible, you might say. Oh, you're welcome, Strong G. And that's why I thank you. This was my Bible of chords because, again, see, I've already worn off the top cover. This allowed me to get some music theory, which is what I try to push: music theory, scales, and looking at notes, um, the determination, sharp flats, double sharp, double flats, natural, how they look, the basic tones, the major scales. Again, this is where you want to learn your music from: chords, root names, scale degrees, major, minor triads. Again, this is all done on my time. Ninth chords, 11th chords, 13th chords, how they are interpreted. Major triads, augmented triads, lower fifth triads, diminished triads, major seventh chords. This is all information that will be found in a book. Yes, there are a lot of tremendous sites out here now, here on YouTube, where I'm actually learning from a guy that's teaching the beginning basics of jazz, because I never learned jazz. So I'm getting what I was taking for granted as I'm just playing a chord. They're telling me, oh, this is a triad, or this is a triad, tritone. And I'm going, okay, I've heard that term tritone, but no one ever really explained it. So I'm still learning at 64 going on 65. I'm still learning because there's a lot of music I haven't played yet. Goodness, look at all these pages. 7th flatted 9th chord. C, E, G, B flat, D flat. I have no reason to play that chord, but I might hear a movie score where that chord is being played, and I'm like, wow, where'd they get that chord from? I'll search it out. Once I can hear it, I can search it out and go, oh, okay. And harmonic notation, the proper placement of fingers. You're worried about how do you place your fingers properly. Some of these books will tell you how to properly place your fingers on a chord. And the best part about this book that I liked is that these are all the chords found in the key of C. Okay, there goes the D major. A lot of these chords I would just practice to hear what they sound like, and if I could use them in my playing, I would use them. Okay, we'll take one. C7 flat 9. Let me see. Did we just do that one? Oh, C7 flat 9. Yeah, okay. So I use that chord. Now here they call it a C7 flat 9. But if you were to look at in another key, it's a D flat diminished. And everybody that plays preacher chords uses that. But unless you know what it's called, you just assume, oh, that's a chord that I had developed in my playing. No, there's no chord that's being played that has not been known and written down somewhere. I've watched you play for a while, and I love the way you are able to invert while playing in E flat. E flat is, you might say, well, do I have a favorite key that I like to play in? I have least favorite keys depending upon the song, but every key I try to manipulate what fingering positions I have in that key. E flat is my favorite testimony song key because I can run that run without even thinking about it. I could do that run without even thinking about it when I'm in E flat. So I love E flat for that fact. But now if I'm doing E flat, I should be able to go to G flat, which is F sharp, and be just as happy. Because it's using some of the same notes. But it's got to be comfortable playing in G flat by playing in E flat, because G flat is really like G flat is like an E flat minor. again, that's part of that practice thing where I try to find a comfortable way of playing in a key before I make it difficult. I'm just looking over some of the comments. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Play by ear and sight. Well, yes, Esquire. I use the hymnals as my sight reading. As I told you, I was never trained to play piano, but I was trained as a French horn, mellophone musician in a jazz band in high school. So I did know how to read notes. So if I pick up a hymnal, and because I know where notes are, here we go. Give me a clean heart. I can look at the key signature and know what key it's in. I can look at the notes and be able to count the notes out from a sight reading standpoint. I can look at the chording and see what chords are being used. I'm switching over a little bit here. Okay, so I'm looking at the song in this hymnal, Give Me a Clean Heart, which is a good song. It's in E flat. I can look at the notes. The sight reading now. I'm just reading so that I may be used by thee, for I'm not worthy of all these blessings. Did they go to the D? Yes, they did. There's the occidental that changed it from changed it from a flatted note to a natural note. This is what gospel does. Give me a clean heart. Just so you can see, I changed the E flat. So this is the song, Give Me a Clean Heart, because you brought about play by ear and by sight. Because I know this song, but sometimes you look at how someone else interprets it in sheet music, and you go, okay, that's how that person interpreted it. But when I play the song "Give Me a Clean Heart," I do the gospel feel to it. There it is. I give it that gospel feel. Now you may not find this chord written here, but because I have a jazz background and a big band background, for I'm not worthy. The walk up. That's my gospel. That's my interpretation of changing it from I go is that the tritone, another tritone. That gospel feel is when you feel your interpretation. Now, yes, if someone is singing a song, I probably won't do half of that, because now I'll be supporting what that person. Now, and those chords that I've been playing, they're probably in here. If I go to, let me see. The lowest note is E, so let me go to E. And let's see if that chord that I just played in with an E at the last note is in here. Because I don't want to tell you something that's not correct. You go searching. Since E was the lowest note, getting there. Almost. Okay, here we go. E flat 5. Is the E flat 5 or the E9 5? So now I look, because I left off some notes. Actually, I can just go to chordy and it'll tell me what that chord is. E major flat 5 plus 5. Okay. So that chord that I'm doing right there. So when I do that, this software, chordy, takes that book. I won't have to go searching for the chord in that book. I was looking to see if I could find it, and I was getting close because they do show an offshoot of this chord. If I went here, and I think they had that one there as I was chasing it down. But the chordy app lets me now break it down to where if someone would have asked me, what chord were you playing there? I pull up chordy and I say, okay, how do I use it in the song? Give me a clean heart. Then I break into, so I'll follow. Again, all jazz chords. I love using this chord. It could be here, which is the more natural. I'm not. Go straight down. Because I've stretched the note out, now it becomes a C. C7, 9, 5. If I kept just the D there. That's why chords, the last note, the lowest note on your chord tells you what family it belongs to. As you hear me say sometimes when I'm teaching, you have whatever scale you're in, there are relative chords in that scale. Relatives mean they're part of that scale, but the chords you wouldn't think would fit, but it depends upon which relative you're going to use. Some people have uncles and aunts they like. They have nieces and nephews they like. Those are the relative, different terms of relative chords. Which ones do you like that you want to use in your interpretation of your music? Now, there's some musicians that just play by the number system. Or I play, this is a 1, and this is going to be my 4, and this is going to be my 5. And I'm like, well, okay, how do you know what chord you're going to put in that 1, 4, and the 5? Give me a melody and let me assign whatever chords I want to that progression. I mean, chords by themselves, is that right? Chords by themselves are fine. It's only when you assign a melody to them that they give you substance to it. Just trying to make sure I'm not missing any comments. Now, that's beautiful. You enhanced the hymn, but you did not riff to death. Well, I'm not a rifter. Should not be overdone. That's just my take. I don't have, we just switch. I don't have the running ability of notes. I may practice scales to a special tempo, because if I want to do I'll do that. But am I going to come back down? I'm gonna mess it up because I'm only running this an arpeggio, to express something that I want to do musically. Mm. I only do that. I may do that for whatever, but I try to control, as they say, the riffs that I might be doing in any given song. I'm just cleaning up something here on my. I have hotkeys assigned to my keyboard. If I type them, they go into my chat. I may just do it because at that particular time, that's what I want to do. Like I was just doing, "Give Me a Clean Heart." I may do it as part of a solo piece, but never if someone is singing. I'm not going to be, if they're doing a riff, I'm not going to riff behind them. That's uncouth, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I'm been on an hour and 12. I certainly don't want to bore anyone. This will always stay up. I don't take these down from my site because I like it when I get a chance, when I take the chance rather, to do live sessions. Um, in the midst of upgrading my old computer system, this is a 2008 Mac that I'm on, and at times it has been showing its age to me. Some of the software that I use is telling me we can't upgrade anymore because your operating system is too old, and 2008 Mac can only go to El Capitan. And El Capitan, when I loaded it back years ago, just about wrecked all my software. So I've kept it down in the Yosemite operating system. But now some of the newer stuff I want to be doing requires an operated computer upgrade. So that's on my agenda for 2015. As you see, I'm trying to give a better quality stream, a better quality presentation as a YouTube creator. So I am. Oh, you're welcome, Strong G. So I'm conscious that I have to upgrade my game. I do have I have upgraded in camera for some of the. You see some of the videos now. It's looking a lot clearer. As I say, I'm using Pro Tools now as my audio for my um, music videos, as I call them now. They're not just me doing a practice session. I'm doing an actual music video, unless it's something like right now where I'm actually showing you what I do, how I practice, or taking over a lesson. Most of what I will be doing will be in a video format. I will be going outside, videotaping where I live in the areas, not people's homes, but the community where I live, and putting music videos together with that, with songs as I create my own songs and do those things that I like to do. I am officially retired. Thank God I was able to be in the workforce for 47 consecutive years, and yet I am not in any physical pain. I can, as they say, I got the use of my limbs. You see, I got the use of my fingers. I can run. I can run 2 miles if I need to. Walk the mile if I have to, which I do need to get off some of this COVID weight. But my intent now is to do full-time music content created for my YouTube page, not just as you see, if you've been on my page, you see I'm posting cooking videos. I've always been a closet cook, fried chicken or macaroni and cheese. I've done a turkey. I've done a pot roast. Got the air fryer so that I can have fried chicken without feeling guilty. So I posted those videos. I tried putting my own music behind it, and I said, you know what? I'll use some of the stock music YouTube gives me until I can get a better quality sound for what I want to do. So you're looking at an evolution, which I try to tell all the musicians, don't just lock yourself into being just a musician for a church. Expand your mind into so many different horizons. I still don't have that singer. I've been working on that probably for the last 8 years, trying to get a singer that can sing raw notes, because you'd be surprised how music can support a person who can actually sing a note and hold it true versus running all the riffs that, to me, ruin a song. But, I'm working on, oh, Squire, thank you. I'm working on getting a female singer. You've seen her featured on a couple of videos of Vibora Reeves, tremendous singer, but like everybody else, has a tremendous life to lead as far as doing the life thing. So I can't, plus with COVID now, I can't even get anybody in here. But that's what I want to do, is to create content that'll be a blessing to those who watch, those who hear, and sharing with you these tips that helped me as a musician who did not have a formal music teacher. This was my music teacher for learning chords. Every album I've had to learn were what taught me how to learn songs. Hymnals taught me the structure of a song. When you see me create a song, it's because I'm following a structure that someone else, put this in there right, following a structure someone else laid out for me. So when I see how The Blood Will Never Lose Its Power, a gospel song, is structured in sheet music format, when I create my sheet music, that's my teacher. Not to say that somewhere in my future I may take an online course or attend a college that teaches maybe production, because I do love that part of it. But I'm opening myself to be doing anything. You gave me my morning hymn for next Sunday. I'm practicing out. This was wonderful. Oh, thank you, Eddie. Yes, there is a process, especially when you want to play expressive music. When you can feel the song that you're playing, and it's just a matter of knowing where the notes are found. Like right now, we're going into Black History Month, so I posted an easy way to learn Lift Every Voice and Sing, because I've heard so many musicians play it incorrectly. I said I've played it to sort of as a guide for some musicians, but I never did it as a lesson. So I said, let me post this now early, because somewhere near the end of February, someone is going to feel like playing spirituals or play Lift Every Voice and Sing, when really it should be, you should learn all the spiritual songs. That's why I posted some last year, and I posted some this year to give musicians an up. I'm going to do Ride On King Jesus, because I know I've seen a lot of videos where people sing that song with a choir. Well, you don't have choirs anymore, unfortunately, with this COVID thing, but I can at least still teach the song. And as you can see, both hands, because I came down into the range of where the left hand is, they switch off, and my left hand knows how to play the notes. All right, now I want to bring bring this session to an end. But yeah, that's my practice session. I'll jump from songs. In fact, I think I'm trying. How many keys was I in? I was in C, D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, G. Didn't touch F, A, E. I did touch D. Didn't touch B flat or B major. Generally, I will try to touch every key with an actual song that I know or song I don't know. But when you play music, you're usually playing every key anyway. If I'm doing this, then I'm in B major. If I'm doing this, I'm in A major. I'm somewhere in those chords. I always found that songs challenging. I don't know why. I've been a gospel musician for 4 years. Well, I guess I've never learned that. Oh. Esquire, the um, the approach to really feeling comfortable about playing gospel music is that when it's coming from you, usually when you're playing for a church, then you're playing for somebody. But when you start playing it from you, for you, all of a sudden your whole concept changes. I'm not a singer. Now you hear me try to sing, but I know how a note should sound. Let's see if I can get this correct now. This should be the key of C. There we go. C, the note, the middle C is my resonant tone in me. If I can hear that tone inside of me and then find it on the keyboard, then I can find every other note that I want to hear. So if I go C, E flat, F, just G, there we go, F, D, E, E flat, D, C, there we go, B, B flat. If I can hear those notes resonant in me, and if I'm soloing a song and I know the words and the lyrics, I solo using let my fingering or my melody playing be my voice that I don't have. So if I want bum ba dum ba dum bum 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 da 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 da, there we go. Ba da da ba ba da bum ba ba da 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 ba da da bum. I can hear it in my head, and my hands will find it. Ba ba dum ba bum ba ba dum da 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 ba ba dum. Da, 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 da. I'll find it with my hands because I hear it in my head. Ba, ba, da, ba, ba, da, 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 right. So, and that's only because there's an inside of me, headwise, that says, I wish I could sing, so that I can go scat. Da, 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 ba, 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 da, da, ba, 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 da, ba, bum, bum, ba, da, ba, 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 da, bum, 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 bum. I can't used to play French horn, so I had to find my notes. If I didn't hear it correctly, if I didn't play it right from the sheet music, I heard it wrong in my head. I would go back and make sure I can get the right note. The hard part is when you're doing double chords. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, but those are the type of practice things that I do. I can hear a chord, hear the change of the chord, hear what the chord is, and play that change. So I have a 6, minor, 7th, plus 5, or C minor, C7 plus E, and the book is called C plus 5. They call it, it's augmentative. But I can hear the change in I can hear the change in my head. I can hear the chord in my head. Wrong. There we go. Hear the change in my head, and immediately know what I want to do when I get there. What is that song? Billy Preston. Nothing for nothing leaves you nothing. Took me so long to learn that because I could hear it, but I had no idea how he moved his hands to do this. And once I got fluid enough in my hands to be able to do that, it became easy to learn that song. And that's desire. When you have that desire to learn what you don't know. Again, I haven't played that in years, but because I had a desire to learn how to play that piece, because it brought joy. Nothing for nothing leaves you nothing. You got to have something if you want to be with me. I said, you know what? I have to learn how is he moving his hands across the keyboard and hitting those notes without even thinking about it most of the time. And practice allowed me to develop the movement necessary so that I can get that out of me in a sense. So please don't give up on where you believe you are. You're not stuck. You're not stopped. You're just paused. Hopefully, what I'm sharing with you helps you to move past being paused. And again, invest in a book. I don't care which book it is. Even an actual beginner's book. I mean, I've never learned how to play this correctly, and I still do it wrong whenever I try to do it.
Yeah.
I never learned to do that. I heard people play it that can do it flawlessly, but I can't. With all that I'm able to do, I have not given study to. If I give, but if I but if I take the time and give study to that, I'll be able to play it in every key. But because there was no need for me to turn to study to do that, from learning the latest Kirk Franklin song or the latest Thomas Whitfield song or the latest James Cleveland song back in my early days or the latest hymn, that wasn't a hymn that I had to learn. But if I had to, I would have learned it like those that spent years in study with teachers. That's the one thing that I do regret that I did not get a chance to have a teacher that I could go to that could say, okay, go get a day job because you're not going to be a musician playing on Carnegie Hall. But um, you will do well playing for any other venue. Not that that's a bad thing, because I feel I'm able to get out of my head whatever I hear. And if I can do that, then I'm happy. Even as I approach the age of 65, I have never had carpal tunnel or stiffness in my hands. I can still play whatever notes I want to at whatever speed I desire to practice at. And that's really what it really comes down to. Are you comfortable with what you're doing? Well, welcome. Thank you, James. And Kids Wing Chun, thank you. I'm trying to keep up with all the comments because I need to be in contact with those of you that have been supporting me all these years on YouTube. As you know, I'm a YouTube streamer. I'm a content. I am monetized on my page. So as you subscribe and as you view my videos, you do help me to raise funds so that I can maybe get not the lowest next upgrade, but maybe in the middle of the road. I don't need a $5,000 computer, but I am looking at the Apple M1X, or the no, the Apple, whatever the new version is of the Apple computer. I am looking to migrate to a quality device so that I can continue to improve the content. Again, I watch all the streamers, not just the guys that do music, but everybody that streams on YouTube, and I look at the quality of their production, and I'm like, well, I'm slowly getting there. I've got the camera, I've got, you don't see it here, but I've got lighting already here. Um, I'm going to have to upgrade my USB device when I upgrade the computer, but that's okay. I've been looking at the pricing. I watch the YouTubes, what they're using, so that I can give at this stage the best content possible to help you so that you can enjoy the music that I play and these types of sessions that I'm having. All right, hour and a half into it. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting me over these years and for coming in today. I know it's a Sunday. Here in the East Coast, we're looking at snow, so I've already picked up my supplies for the next 3 or 4 days, and I'll get my strength and my practice in when it comes to start shoveling snow. But if it's too bad, of course, you know where I will be, right here creating content for you to enjoy, and hopefully share something that will help you to uh, get to where you want to be musically. All right. If I don't leave, I won't leave. Thank you again. Appreciate you. I love you all. Share this stream. Share any of my videos you want with people that may encourage them. And if you have any more comments after this, please post them. I will see them because this will stay up. Be blessed. Be safe. Stay masked if you need to. I'm looking forward to taking the vaccine. Well, welcome, James. I'm looking to taking it once it's available. I'll be 65 in April, so I'm way down on the list compared to those who are in the more um, susceptible range. I did have my COVID experience. I didn't have it bad though. I never lost my wind or the chest problem, but I did lose taste, smell. Had a painting in my right leg. I did have the redness in my eye. Just calling it the things I did have. Had the heat and I had the chills, temperature and the chills. Didn't last more than 6 days though. So there's a lot of some that are not here and some that are here that are still going to be suffering from this. But be as safe as you possibly can and be blessed. Love you all. Take care. Sam Tolbert signing off. Sound of Joy Music Services. Take care.